So, you are driving. Yeah, so where you want to start?
Well, so, you've described the desert before, but is this just sand? White sand?
This-
Is this stone? What are we looking at here?
Where you drove out, you drove you drove west away from the black, and now you're driving south. So once you got out of the sort of veil, as they call it, which is the reach of the black, it became a dune sand, which it's like really, really coarse sand, sharp. So like a beach sand is like really fine and soft. Mm-hmm. This is dune sand, so it is coarse and rough, and
Say it.
It gets everywhere. But also the dunes, there's a reason this is the dune waste that you're in right now, because they're not slow, like easy slopes. They are mountains that you have to drive around carefully. They are tall peaks and ridges that have been made due to this area's frequent warfare in the past. There are giant craters that the sand has fallen into and created basically just a giant field of sand mountains. So what that means is to drive around it, you have to take very complicated routes, or, as Sunshine is doing, just go right over the top of the fucking thing really fast and hope you land on your wheels.
Nah, if Sunshine's got his own car...
Drive, just sort of drift off the top.
What are we in again? What kind of vehicle are we in?
You are in a Dune Rider, what did I call it? As I described. It's the six-wheeled tread vehicle.
The ATT with treads.
Right.
Yeah, it'll probably survive.
Yeah, it's what they're meant for. They bend in the middle so that you can hit a dune at an inclined angle and the rest of your car can bend. So that when you're going from a flat surface to a really tall one, the front treads can catch, the middle bends.
There's 4 vehicles, right?
Well, there's... how many do you want to take? Because there's only 4 people.
Yeah, I would have just gone in with Sunshine.
Do you want to take more than one vehicle?
Do you know how to drive one?
Milo would like to learn how to drive one. Take 2.
This is really... Sure, fuck it. Roll for that.
We'll roll.
He'll
try to give it a whirl.
I will give you a +2, 1 for your intelligence, and 1 because you just steered an airship.
So just a flat +2?
Yeah, +2.
It's an 18.
+2?
Yeah, that's with the 2. It's 18 total.
Okay. 18 total. Yeah, no, you hop in, and it's kind of like the airship, but it's actually a lot more intuitive. Where, because it's jointed, you turn the wheel and the front half of the vehicle turns with you. The wheels themselves don't. Because the treads are also a weird sort of way where, actually, did I say it's 6-wheeled?
Yeah, you said it was 6-wheeled.
Right. That wouldn't work. It has to be 8-wheeled. Yeah, it has to be 8-wheeled. So there's a...
It's fine. Mind games are hard.
Right, yes. So, there's 2 wheels in the front with their own tread, and there's 2 wheels in the back with their own tread, so that when it bends and rotates. Yeah,
I just assumed one of the ligaments was slightly bigger than the other, but
no. Right. When you turn, the front half of the car turns with you, and then the back half. So it's basically it's rear wheel driving.
Interesting.
But you lead with the front.
So
it's like driving
effectively,
a snake.
Milo wants to drive, invite Samara out of you, then just get him away from Sunshine.
Yeah, she actually refused to get in the car with Sunshine.
Yeah.
So Alice.
Yeah.
It's you and Sunshine.
He is hammering, just throttling, drifting all over these dunes. You can't really tell if he has a handle on it, like he knows what he's doing, and that's why he's acting like this, or he has no idea what he's doing, and he's just really lucky. But he is hammering this thing all over. Yeah,
she is watching him very closely, just like from a very analytical standpoint. Like, all right, what is basically like trying to watch a machine? Like, what are your like tells? What is?
Yeah, you can tell he has one hand on the wheel, the other on the gear, and his head is just locked forward. He doesn't look at them at all. Just head immobile, arms moving on their own.
Does he look like he's taking the most efficient, like, direction?
No.
No.
It looks like he is finding the nearest hill and driving at it as fast as he can and getting as much air as possible.
Gosh.
There it is.
And that's causing him to slide and tip, and you almost roll at one point, but you actually see he just yanks it left then right and then just drags the entire thing back down. He's just derby driving, basically.
Milo's not doing that. He's actually
He's
avoiding
left
hills.
in the
He's basically not.
He is taking the most efficient route.
He's taking the most efficient route and
And
not
the
going
safest.
up any hills. Yeah.
So you're just fine with so what's
Alice
Alice's
is-
reaction to this driving?
Alice is okay. Well, first off, she has her mask on so that
Right. The sand doesn't blast her. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Sunshine is just eyes ahead, just getting blasted with sand. But you can see like whenever it gets in your eyes, just one lid closes or the other. But yeah, face is just remaining.
She is completely blocking out the world around her as much as she can and is trying to focus on Sunshine and trying to figure him out the entire ride.
Yeah, he moves like how would I describe it? Part animatronic, moving a little too quickly. Part hyperactive animal.
Interesting.
Where it's very jumpy but very rigid.
Alright, okay.
But does it look... just one more thing before we move on. Does it look like he's... Like, in terms of precision, does he look very precise, or does he look a little bit just...
He looks unbothered by all of it. Like, when he drifts over a dune and it starts to flip, he just turns the wheel, downshifts, and brakes. And he's doing all this very quickly. But, yeah, no, like...
So
flying
it's
over
maybe
sideways.
not necessarily that he's very precise, but he just has a very, very quick reaction time.
He's quick. He's extremely... Also, kind of too quick is that he'll over-adjust constantly. But he's maintaining upright, and he doesn't seem... excited, but he also doesn't seem... He's never been scared at all. He barely emotes, even slightly. But after you exit the sort of outer dunes, you come to a large flat plain, and which on the edge of which just a huge horizon grows in a big, as you would know, this is the Lesser Canyon, which rides down from past the edge and to the roost. It used to be a big water canal where water came down from the mountain and formed this. So you're technically driving uphill towards the roost, basically, but it's a big ravine that was carved. And it's people usually stay away from it because either there are blood sport living there, or there's really bad sandstorms because all that wind is funneled through this big tunnel. So people usually avoid it, but you can see Sunshine is just dead ahead.
What's the general surrounding look in relation to Griot? What seems to be the most reasonable, most efficient route?
This would be the most. This is the straight line path is what he's taking. Most people, there's a route that curves back sort of south and east and then around.
Oh, so
he's going right across.
So effectively, instead of going straight, I'd have to go here.
You have to go around it because it's a big line that goes east to south. And so to avoid it, you would have to either go east or far west.
I'll go far west.
But no, Sunshine is punching straight through.
I'll go far west.
No, this is like miles of separation you'd have to take.
So it's huge. All right.
Oh, it's a huge water. Imagine like Grand Canyon, but about half as long.
Okay, never mind. Yeah.
Big thing.
Go through it. Accelerate.
Yeah, he's punching through. There is actually a sort of a letdown where part of it has caved in that makes sort of a steep ramp. You see Samara just from the back, just, hey, where are we going?
Well, it's part of the drive. We're going to Griot.
You said that about the airship.
Well, Sunshine is not piloting this vehicle.
What? Okay, that is true. So we have less of a chance of, I guess, changing vehicle types halfway through, but do you know what you're doing?
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
If we did avoid the ravine, it would just be miles off course.
Well, I
So
guess
it's the faster way.
Faster's better. We just spend less
true.
time with him. So that's
That's
good,
true.
I guess.
Once we get to Gria, he's probably taken off our hands as well.
Yeah, that would be the best, I'd say.
Yeah.
You see. Actually, no. Roll for both of you.
What? Perception?
Perception for both of you.
I
Do I
get
have-
that.
Do I not have perception? The
You
fuck?
do not. How come he's 4? Okay.
What, you're level 10, but you don't have any added skills to you.
I sure don't.
You don't have a stat. You should add that real quick.
Yeah. What are they again? Intelligence.
Intelligence, dexterity, strength, and endurance. I think intelligence would make the most sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also in a meta sense, intelligence.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You're right. I was thinking maybe endurance, but no, you're right. That makes sense.
So that gives you +1 to sense motive
and alchemy
and lore.
And
And
alchemy.
gun.
Yeah, so +1 to all the.
So.
It would be
Oh
good.
yeah, no, and gun.
Yeah.
It gives you the most skills
Yeah.
because intelligence,
Makes sense, yeah.
learning the most skills.
I get that.
Dexterity makes you better at
Would be a D8
your
now.
skills.
That's exciting.
Strength makes you just fucking damage. Endurance makes you nigh unkillable, as Regalia has found out. Well, except when someone shoots you with a rifle like 3 times.
It's when you're fighting multiple
Bang,
enemies.
bang, bang! Without cover, because
Ouch!
fighting guns without cover usually ends in multiple gunshot wounds. That's a 4. So
Four.
it's a D8 plus advantage. Well, a 4 is D8 plus advantage, and you get a buff to alchemy. So that means you get to add another skill of whatever you want.
Honestly, I swear to God, this is what I would have chosen. I'm gonna do perception.
That makes sense. We're doing this kind of after the fact, but yeah. Oh, it should be blue. Yeah.
Perception is also blue.
Well, because
Intelligence?
you're adding this because this is an intelligence stat basically. Intelligence also because intelligence every time you do it you get to add another. So intelligence is a scaling mechanic.
All right.
And you can take different stats every time you level up past
So
10.
here's my perception.
Figures.
It is an 8.
It's an 8. Milo's.
4.
A 4 and an 8. Wimdy.
Sunshine.
Wimdy.
Sunshine.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me. Shit, where did I write it down?
Wimdy. Oh no! Wimdy.
It Wimdy.
Wimdy.
Have you seen that gif? Shut the fox.
I know.
It fucking Wimdy.
I know.
I have
I
not.
love him.
It's a good one. Shit, where did I take him? Because I kind of wrote him down just like as an emergency. Now I can't find it. Where is it? Oh no, I found it.
It's turned into a 2D figure.
No, he has nothing. Roll flat.
2. I love it. It's been halved
Good,
every time. 8, 4, 2. Let's roll. I want to. Sorry, what's her name?
Samara.
again? I want to roll Samara. If we get a 1, I would be so happy.
Oh, she actually gets a +4.
Okay. Plus D4. Nat 20.
Fuck. So you're all driving and you just sort of hear like Samara. Hey, guys, hey.
What is it?
She like reaches up into the cockpit and like points off. You see sort of what was in your peripheral in sort of northbound is a big descending sandstorm. Or you would know this as a twirler. This is when a sandstorm rises high enough and loses all of its velocity, and then just a sheet of sand descends and starts moving in basically a tornado. So basically giant arms of sand that are
Alright.
just falling straight down.
So this is heading towards the ravine?
Yeah, it's being pushed. So it's sand that is falling and is being pushed by a crosswind.
Is this ahead of us?
No, it's basically coming northward. So you have to get in the ravine now to avoid
Alright.
it.
Are there caves in the ravine?
Hey, can we get in there now?
Yeah, no, we're going. And I'll accelerate, go fast.
Yeah, as you see, Milo just sort of shoot past you. Sunshine snaps over that, thinks, snaps over, and then just kicks it into the highest gear and shoots down into that
Yeah.
pass.
Here it
Sights
is.
on.
As you zoom down into this ravine, you see above you the sand, which is it's gone from just pretty much like a stagnant, slow wind, just instantly hit Mach 5 hurricane, just right overhead.
Snap.
And you get kind of showered with sand, but you're safe from the wind, pretty much, down here. It is dark.
No longer windy.
There's a reason why Alice wears the suit in this fucking
Yeah, you have to kind of come to a stop, too, because as it gets to the bottom, it narrows down. There's not really a lot of room to maneuver. So you're pretty much idling forward now as the sand storm overhead rages.
Sunshine, I wasn't going to say anything, but I have to ask now that this has happened, why did you choose this route?
Fastest.
But people don't choose this route for this exact reason.
Yes.
It's not going to be fast if
Empty.
we're stuck. I guess if we're moving
Low
forward.
detection.
Who would be detecting us?
Everyone. But you actually eventually come to a spot where the sand is sort of pooled in, and it is impossible to see because of the storm.
Oh, okay. So that's why we're not moving.
So, and you sort of idle to a stop, and because the light above you is pretty much cut off, and the sand is starting to get intense. You do notice there are actually caverns. What may be actually carved. You know what? Roll perception.
All right.
So that's a
24
for both.
That is a 9 for Milo.
And another d4 for
Want me
Alex.
to?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a 5 for
And for Samara?
That is a natural 20 and a 4 prize.
7.
Also nothing for Sunshine.
2.
So did anyone get above 10?
No.
No.
Literally no one got above 10?
No.
Yeah, there's a cave door, pretty much.
Ooh, is rock cool?
There's an opening.
Let's
That,
go.
you notice, like, behind you, the cavern is starting to fill with sand, pretty much.
Is there a way? Is there some sort of alchemical? What's it I could consume to give myself enhanced vision, like in this sandy situation?
Oh, I know there's, oil root.
Cause like gobble.
Well, there's oil root that you can light on fire and it burns for just, like, days. So you can have, like, a torch constantly.
Basically, all right. How about this? I'll put some of that into.
Dried oil root.
I'll have like a little like a cartoon Minecraft like bottle, alchemical bottle. Put that into my gun.
Do you have a torch?
And then,
Oh yeah, we just describe this now. Hold up.
Yeah, you know what, Seth? You're better at describing things. Describe whatever the fuck this is.
Alice has to herself just an oversized, somewhat gaudy, but very well designed. It is a bit of old tech, wood and brass with a big globular glass compartment for things that is slid into it. It is a big handgun that uses as ammunition these bottles.
And you can slot in any sort of flask you want.
And yeah, she locks in this this globular bottle, locks it in place, and pulls the trigger and
Just fires into the sky. It's basically an alchemical flare.
you see it sort of explodes into a bunch of small sparks that continue burning. And yeah, you see above you, the sand is starting to pool down the sides of the ravine and kind of form a river.
I will say, I wouldn't want to shoot like straight up to try and get anyone's attention. I wanted to just like shoot basically horizontally, looking forward.
Into the cave? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a long cave. You actually see it disappear around a corner. It hits a wall.
Alright, she'll do her best to direct Milo in that direction.
Yeah, Sunshine's already going.
Mm-hmm.
The cave?
It's basically like a hallway.
Is it elevated?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say, let's hop in the cave with the pooling sand.
You see behind you, basically, where you came in, all the sand is moving towards you and forming a river.
Yeah.
So the cars are actually starting to be buried surprisingly quickly. It doesn't look like a lot of sand, but the cars are just being dragged under.
Is there any torches? We're not in the cars anymore? I guess, yeah, that was just
You shouldn't be.
fast forward. I don't know.
Your hand is a torch.
I was thinking of having some sort of light source in the hand and just driving through
You are a
it.
torch.
I know, but I'm inside the car. I can't see. I'm assuming I'm assuming I won't project enough light to be able to drive this vehicle out of the ravine. Because there's sand. It's sand pulling from the sides, right?
Yeah.
And how long is this ravine?
Like miles.
How long is this? So I wouldn't be able to tell how long the storm.
The car is sinking.
All right, fine. I'll just leave the car and go to the.
No,
car.
like the rest of them got out of the car.
I mean, I was just gonna pull the car into the. I was just gonna.
No, like
inside.
it's being swallowed. Everything in the path of that sand river is being dragged.
Oh, so like it's a lost cause basically.
Yeah, no, the sand, like the storm is starting to funnel into the ravine, and it's like rapids are dragging things further. And you see, also somewhat the ravine has like holes or something in the bottom because the sand is sinking and going somewhere and creating a rapids path. But the sand is moving quickly, and you can see the edges of this ravine are smooth. Yeah, there's like a spot about 10 feet up where it stops, but it has been smoothed out.
All right.
So, yeah, the gang moves into the corridor.
Shaking off sand. Well, if the signs of this ravine were a little bit more jagged, I would have tried to lock one of the vehicles down onto it, but I don't think there was anything we could have done.
I don't know. I still think I might have been able to drive forward at least, since it just seemed to be pulling behind us. But
So
what
yeah,
does it look
it is just a big hallway. I'm gonna say, do you have dark vision? Did we establish that at one point? Can you see in the dark? Did we establish that at any point?
You know what? Honestly, I very pointedly think he doesn't, because I remember that Regalia does.
Right.
In a scene that he was there and he couldn't see.
That's what I was remembering. Anyway, yeah. So
I will say,
do you have dark vision?
Probably for reasons you might know.
Roll perception.
But also I was gonna say, if you let me get away with it, she pulls out a little bottle and uncorks it. And a bunch of neon little fireflies that are way too bright. Just
so you know what? Everyone roll perception again.
Flying around and basically dancing lights 5e their way around.
So Milo and Alice.
So here's Alice. 11. Man, we are bad with perception today.
Not seeing shit well.
Milo. That's better. That's 17.
Oh, it's a 17.
Let's go.
Milo,
Samara. Did you want me to?
Sunshine does not. But
Okay.
Samara, what'd she roll?
9.
Yeah. Milo, you recognize. Alice, you too also. Well, I'll let you do this in a second. But Milo first. This is a hallway. This is a constructed hallway. You see, like the walls have been carved, and there are supports dug in, or wooden supports here. And on the walls is carved a written language that you do not recognize.
What's roughly? Does it have like icons or symbols? Is it?
Well, actually, no. It's a written language.
Okay. So
It's full of characters.
characters. Okay. So it's not like.
But you point that out to Alice, or
What's it called? Cuneiform. It's whatever it is.
No, it's a written language. But you actually see it's strangely written where the letters go down and then right and then go down and right, so it forms a strange patterned like repeating square almost.
All right.
Like continue going down and right inside each other.
Interesting.
But yeah, Sunshine's just
Like a
plowing
very
on ahead.
blocky, artificial cursive.
Yeah.
Well, Alice, I think this might interest you with the walls, and I guess Samara, we have nothing else to do here. We're
lore. What do you get for that?
I think it's a D8
I think it's a
now.
D8 with advantage, isn't it?
No, that's alchemy. I think it's just a D8, right?
Yeah, D8. Roll that lore, baby.
Oh God, I'm rolling like ass today. It's 10.
It's a 10 even. You recognize that this is an ancient tongue. This is a dead language. You don't know what any of it says, but you can recognize that this is a dead language from before.
Out of all of the characters, are there a lot of repeating words, or does the vocabulary look very how many characters would you say are probably in
How many
this?
characters? Roughly 30.
Okay.
So it's a small contained alphabet. And here's another thing. The characters don't interlock. They are standalone characters
Oh, so
I'm gonna
similar to
look up and
kanji.
around. How like.
As you shine your light, they are everywhere. This entire passage has been inscribed with them.
Hmm.
And this is a dead
To
language
think
that isn't.
I stumbled upon here by chance.
And yeah, you can see also by your feet, the sand starts to flow into here just slightly. You see the tunnel just does elevate.
Hmm.
Rather handy.
I'm gonna take off a glove and basically do the wind thing.
Right.
Does it seem like there's any wind coming from deeper down into the?
Percept that.
All right.
Nice.
Actually, what was
Slutty
that?
20.
It's a slutty 20. Now roll alchemy.
Oh, okay. Which is
8 in advantage.
Natural 1. Your blood starts to boil.
That's pretty fucking high. I got a 22.
You feel, and actually, as you sit and you just start to try to percept things around you, there's actually very noticeable wind that's coming in short bursts. With your alchemical knowledge, you know that this is filtered air.
Hmm.
You can smell that this is non-natural air.
This is sense.
Fascinating. Alright, don't be alarmed, anyone, but I would like to make sure we don't get drowned by sand. So
I'm gonna say with that perception, you can see there's a point at where you're almost led into a staircase.
Oh, so there's the point where it wouldn't.
And on the walls, you see there's a smoothed point that stops.
Okay, then I didn't say that. That didn't exist.
But the sand is starting to pool at your feet, so.
Yeah, let's move further on inside.
Yeah, I second that actually.
Yeah, you know
What's Samara wearing? Is she safe?
She's just in her city robe and she has tied the blanket around herself.
Do you want my she takes off her cape thing?
No, it's fine. I have my own.
All right, if you say
This
so.
is actually yours. I was gonna ask you about that later.
I wasn't going to point it out.
It works.
I'm a seamstress, so I was going to turn this into something else. I kind of forgot that it was yours.
You can have it, honestly.
Kind of a nice material.
It's not mine.
I'm kind of freaking out here. Can we
Part
go
of
forward?
No, we'll be fine. I actually thought about going to the right with the ravines, but sunshine went, and then I guess I don't know. Let's go forward.
You actually see there are sconces where there used to be torches, maybe that have ash buried in them. As you continue, and yeah, as you move onwards, it steepens into a staircase that you see. Sunshine is already halfway up.
How
Yeah.
warm is it? Is it cold? Because Milo's definitely bundled up right now. But if it's
it was cold down in the hallways. It's starting to get warmer. The wind is coming in regular, almost breath, bursts.
All right, if it's windy, Milo's probably gonna.
Not windy, but you feel it's still, and then there's a rush, and then it's still again.
Yeah. So, what temperature wise roughly? What the Harbinger equivalent is?
It was kind of 40s down in the caves, and it's climbing back into the 50s and 60s
All right,
now.
so honestly, if it's getting 50s, 60s, Milo's probably going to go just probably wolf chest at this point because he's insulated.
Well, it's 90 above, so
Yeah.
whatever that means.
Yeah, no, he's insulated right now, so he's kind of got whatever form of dress wear he's got, but also it's I'm assuming he's got some sort of belt tied around, and then his upper clothes are just draped over.
He's doing the mechanics thing.
Yeah, the mechanics jam. I'm gonna describe Milo real quick since it's been a hot fucking minute and he has changed drastically.
Right.
I'm gonna with some weathered maroon reds and a rustic yellow. I don't think I ever specified this, but I nailed it down. But a rattlesnake head.
Right.
That, so it's got the orange and it's kind of the yellow springs at the top, but his wolf, the fur is technically gray, and it's normal when a werewolf it is. I don't have the capacity to actually memorize and keep track of it in my brain, but the gloves are this kind of this just tactile, all encompassing just around the hands. It's brown leather, but around the waist is clothing draped over as kind of you know how the mechanics jumpsuit that you can slip your arms in and zip it up. He has rustic reds and yellows, and it's kind of draped over, along with kind of a I want to say Middle Eastern, but this may be like the 600 years ago Middle Eastern, where you've got the pants that kind of like floof up. You got the
sand pants.
The pants.
Pants.
Tied
But
around your
tied,
ankles.
yes.
Yeah,
Which
and
makes sense.
And he actually has whatever passes for boots. And
You got the boots. Since it's the lower goat section of him, does he have the boots with the fur?
Oh my God.
Does he have the boots with the fur?
No, it's actually hidden. There's no fur. I know.
Get those bad boys open. Get that out there. Let
No.
them breathe.
Never. But yeah, brown boots, a nice a beige pants with just a sort of another off beige wrap around the ankle.
Right.
Sort of draped over with a kind of a belt tied around as well.
You continue up, and the closer you get, it is actually kind of a huge fucking staircase.
Yeah.
It's like a 200-step case that you're climbing up. It has been carved out of what you assume to be sandstone. But as you grow closer to the top, the wind has sort of lessened out into a continual burst. But oh yeah, you see sunshine actually disappear over the top, just sort of into the darkness.
How are my fireflies doing? Are they holding up the
Yeah.
wind?
No, it's a gentle breeze. It's I would say it's more akin to just like air being pumped out. Now it's just there's just a solid, steady like a grocery store welcome mat breeze.
And with the technology in this world, it's common. Is that like normal? Is that like...
Not really. I mean, there are obviously steam speakers. There are steampunks who can do this, but it's extremely, and you can actually count. It is extremely robotic. It's on beat with these pulses.
Everyone, keep your eyes open. I don't think this place is uninhabited.
Well, actually, I'd hope. I think it'd be weirder if we're just in a crypt. Actually,
Very true.
There are lots of old world monuments that have been abandoned under the sand.
Perhaps we're in some old maniacal Mad Pharaoh's dungeon or whatever, who knows?
If I had to guess, my wager is on some sort of steam relay.
oh, I've heard about those. They used to have huge tunnels underneath the whole of the waste.
It's probably just a third party's facility of some sort.
I hope we don't run into smugglers. That would be such a disappointment.
It looks
It's
old.
possible.
It looks
Maybe
old,
fourth
but
or
the
fifth
technology being used to filter this air is relatively advanced.
And you crest the top of the stairs. Everybody roll perception.
And we roll for
That's a
Alex.
D4 for everybody.
Yeah, alright, we got 17 for Alex. We got an 8 for Milo.
Can we swap? No.
We got
I keep on thinking Sumeru. No, what? Samaro?
Samara.
There we go.
What'd
We
you
got
get?
18.
You watched anime once, and all of a sudden,
Don't roll for sunshine.
Alright.
So goddamn, Samara's just getting these perception rolls big for some reason. Just
Big
hawk-eyed
eyes.
for some.
I'm tired after draining my magical reserves.
It makes sense. You've been driving all night, but
It's true.
you crest. Basically, you get high enough that you can see into the hallway that's extending, and you see kind of a weird sight. Sunshine is standing still, arms raised, sort of just in a surrender, as he is being threatened with a spear. Someone has a spear leveled to his throat, and the perception that you get of this figure is kind of hard to rationalize for a second. It doesn't really click. You see someone in armor, and not the normal armor that you're used to. It is metal plated armor.
Oh, is this like King Arthur?
You would equate
Knight
this,
armor?
yes, to like medieval style, but it is long, solid, single plates that have been stacked, and it looks very elegant actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Hema fanatic.
But it's yeah. But you can tell that there's great work when it is elegant armor. It's jointed well. You see the person who's wearing it has a shield on their left arm, and yeah, just a spear, just leveled at Sunshine. And you see the helmet. It's a slightly curved visor with two square holes for vision. and you see that tilt over.
Okay. Oh, sorry. You said 2 square holes. All of a sudden, I just measured the knight helmet, but all of a sudden, it's like it's like you know how it's the knight helmet. You have the face right here, and you have like a little flip down. I'm just imagining a flip down, welded in, but now you just have 2 squares for eyes. Is that it?
Basically, so imagine normal helmet has a full face visor. So just completely full, and it sort of tapers out at the chin so it can lock down. And there are rectangles cut into it.
Okay.
Very
Okay,
thin
cool. It's not as derpy as I thought it was.
No.
Not
square.
How far away is he? Alright.
You see Sunshine made it about 8 feet.
Well, like how relation to me and...
So about 10 feet. Actually, no. Like a solid 15. He's holding just a long spear, just full extension. You see the visor just sort of tilt over to the two.
Well, hello there, sir. I see you've met our other compatriot.
Wer ist nicht in Deutsch?
Is this any language I recognize?
You do not recognize this. Alice, you do recognize it, and it throws you for a fucking loop. He is speaking High Blood.
Huh.
Oh my god.
This is a language that has been dead for 300 years.
How?
And looking closer, he's wearing ancient gear.
Milo's gonna take a bow and raise hands and surrender,
actually,
but also fold.
You actually see that draws attention for a moment.
Of Milo bowing or his,
Yeah.
or her like just...
No, Milo bowing. That actually draws his attention for a moment, and you see him. He brings his spear, sort of flicks it at Sunshine back.
Yeah.
You see, he just stares.
I think he wants you to step backwards towards us, Sunshine.
Oh. Okay. He could have just said that.
Could I speak this language, or will I only understand
Roll.
it?
Roll with lore.
We'll see if you can write it.
17.
That's a 17. Yes.
I'm going to say to him, sorry to disturb you, but we were stranded because of the storm.
And yeah, the helmet tilts again. He flips the spear back once and just boom, settles it against the floor.
So you can speak this?
Not well.
You
Woman of many treasures, alright?
speak Midland. You can hear he's kind of trying the sound out. Midlander, yes.
Alright, you need quick... Seth, what is the Midlands again? What is the Highland? What?
You would know because of your history. The Midlands were the undeveloped section. The High Bloods ruled the North. The Midlands are what you're in right now, actually.
Sure.
At the end of a long cultist war, the High Bloods were pushed into the Midlands, and they split off between the Dune Lords and the High Bloods. And the Dune Lords basically kicked the High Bloods' ass again. And that's when they were supposed to have died out, basically. They had no home or people.
Yeah. Alright.
She'll say, I belong to no group.
And there's just sort of a long pause. You can see he's wearing just this big cape that falls over the back of him. He's dressed, there are no colors.
He doesn't have a reaction to that?
There's seemingly literally no reaction as he just doesn't move from his position.
So he doesn't have like the Dune Lords, or is that the Steel? Is it the Dune Lords or the Steel Teeth that like you might pick something and believe in it? Is that the Steel Teeth?
That's the Steel Teeth. That's the Steel Teeth belief. But you see, he has he's got this big. It loops around the front and connects, almost a cloak that is draped down. There are no colors on him. There is steel and white. And those are the only colors. Like his weapon is actually the pole of it seems to be metallic. The shield itself bears no colors. Even the leather has been bleached.
Alright.
But
yeah, Alice is going to she had her fuck it gun in her hand. She's just gonna quickly set that down on the ground.
Well, as we find ourselves in your humble abode, I don't know what passes for hospitality for you, or if you can even understand me, but we're as friendly as you are.
it has been 20 years since I last spoke with a Midlander.
I mean, hopefully it's a good first impression.
I don't think you can understand that.
No, he's actually speaking your language now.
Oh, now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it sounds a little slower. Like he's carefully, he's taking his time with each word.
Sweet.
But he's very articulate. And it sounds just a little canned from inside his helmet.
It's been quite some time since I've spoken to one of your kind as well.
And the helmet tilts over. You knew of my people.
I am something of a historian myself.
We have passed out of knowledge and out of substance.
Maybe in the Empire's textbooks, but what is popular is not relevant to me. I only care about the truth.
Then a few moments pass. And as he does it, you see he knocks the end of his spear against the ground. And it has the same resonance you would recognize of the Warden's sword.
Uh-oh.
Interesting.
Where he knocks it, and you feel, yet again, as your magic is just white, clean. All magic in the room is just deafened.
Yikers.
And then he turns, and you see, you have stepped into...
How does that...
As the light spreads out, you've stepped into a big room. This is a huge antechamber. He turns, and the reverberation just sort of spreads out into the room. And this is strange, because it doesn't act like normal sound. You can actually kind of follow where it goes, and it moves out in a slow wave and bounces against the walls. And then light starts to bleed into the chamber as lanterns turn themselves slowly on.
How does that affect me?
You feel fucking nauseous.
Ugh.
Just suddenly, just a wave of vertigo, and it passes quickly, but you're just hit.
Ironic.
What do you look like? As this wave hits you, and if all of a sudden just gets like...
Just like leans
Yeah,
on the
no,
right
your gyroscope is just erased for a second, and you have to find out which way is down again.
What's the perception score? What's the roll I have to... You know, in D&D it's like 30 is impossible, 25 is very hard, 20 is...
Right, I have a skill.
Okay. For Nora to observe what she's got, do I roll?
Just roll for a perception.
Alright.
Perception, you can roll as many times as you want whenever you want, so just keep rolling.
It's a 13.
It's a 13. Yeah, you notice this shit here hard.
Interesting. So is there some... Greetings, my name is Milo.
And, you see he turns. He's actually set his shield aside and spear down. And he actually returns your bow in full. Like, slow down.
I'll
slow
half bow
up.
as like a response, but
Alice, already half keeled over, sort of just leans into it and
Right.
also bows.
White absolutely does not. He hasn't moved an inch this entire time. But Samara just sort of, okay.
it's
But
fine. But
I greet you as fully as I am able.
it's a pleasure. I don't know what passes for room and quarters here, but I guess Sandstorm kind of brings people together.
Of my possessions, you are welcome to all of them.
I thank
of
you.
what shelter I can offer.
I mean, I thank you, sir.
The text that we saw in the corridor,
It just sort of clicks now, yeah.
is that basically the written language?
Yes,
of this?
it is the written language. And you would be able to know, this was inscribed in the last, 50 years. It's not worn in. Someone has been carving that into the walls. But he turns, he is, as the room sort of lights up, you can see this is a giant court.
Interesting.
At the end of the room is kind of where a throne would be, but there's just there's a long table with chairs. It's a grand hall. There are weapon racks and shelves of books. There doesn't seem to be any other rooms. This is just a massive room. There are cots at the end of it.
Did you have any glowing potion bits on you?
Oh, so many.
one magic wave hit. Was that just kind of like kill the lights?
And they just went snuffed out, and then they came back.
Okay,
slowly.
I was gonna say, I'm like, oh, there it
That
is.
That would have sucked if I just neutralized all your elements.
Yeah.
Guess what, dick shit.
Gone.
I guess it is kind of like, just kind of like clothing the
Oh, yeah,
lion's
all of
mouth
them-
on magic.
All of my fireflies.
They did actually. But you can tell it's not that
Unfortunate.
they've been turned off. It's that this reverberation spreads out and covers things. And then as it fades, as the sound itself fades, the magic comes back.
Oh, so it's choked out. Nice.
Right, smothered is what you would call it. And that's what it feels like. Whenever you're hit with this wave, it feels like your entire being is just covered in a thick, dense
Would
air.
I feel like this would have been relevant to my interest. Would I have studied whatever the fuck this material is? Do I know anything about it?
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
You would know this. This is, I was about to say nth stone. Oh, I can't say that. That's DC. No, this is called nullstone, or null metal, if it is refined. And you would assume nullstone on its own can be ground into a dust, made into a liquid, or just touched. But it is a material that rejects energy. It creates around it like a magnetic field that doesn't allow energy to exist. So, this material is found in extremely deep places and extremely cold places because it is 0 degrees. It rejects all energy around it. So, the forging and creation of things with it is extremely difficult. Because to break it down and forge it, you have to apply heat.
So is it safe to say that in terms of Harbinger, it's not our physics and isn't our, like, our current reality outside of the game. It's not the
pretty
same.
much-
It's close.
It's close. There are differences, but it's pretty
well,
close.
yeah. Okay, so the difference is because if it's null energy, then there wouldn't be any
Well,
covalent bonds. There
It's
wouldn't
not.
stick to anything.
It's not something that is stopping the energy. It is that this object does not allow energy around it.
Okay.
It is basically this is a dark matter object where
Figures.
the existence of it does not allow energy around it.
If there wasn't any like energy, all like the null like stone paneled walls, it would just slip and go everywhere.
Well, you can't. And the material you would know, you
The-
can't see it because light can't reflect off of it. So basically, it's just a pocket of darkness.
Interesting.
That
Alright.
and the art of turning it into an alloy and then a steel has long been lost. So objects made out of null steel are just practically priceless.
I have a theory. I have a game theory. I
You have
think
a game theory.
if we're factoring in also alchemy and shit like that, maybe that's how the sheriff was created. Just like
Oh yeah, pretty much alchemy is the only
conversion of that material.
alchemy is the
into
only way that
dog.
you can. Yeah. Also,
There
integrating
is-
it into DNA that he would grow it himself
Mhm.
would be huge. She would fucking lose her mind about the sheriff if she knew.
Mm.
But and when it's a steel, instead of generating the field, it has to be struck, and when it is reverberated, it transfers those properties into the sound it creates. So that everything within these sound waves is affected by this magic energy nullifying wave. And it's a lot more safer to hold, because regular, null stone, if you touched it, you basically just fucking die. Or you
Figures.
lose whatever you touched it with.
Yeah, really.
So, brief metallurgy lesson. But he turns and you see the armor is definitely not made of this because you can hear it clink and resound, and it's not doing this. But he extends an arm to the rest of the hall. You are welcome for as long as you require.
All right.
Very gracious.
I'm
Thank you.
going to.
It is my service to remain here and offer my aid to those who would require it.
Yeah. Do you know how long the sandstorms from above typically last within the ravine?
You see him look up. In a span of 1 or 2 days.
All right. It's good to know.
Looks over at Samara. Hope you don't get claustrophobic.
She's this entire time just been like staring around just absolutely awestruck at everything.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah, I didn't really know this existed. This is kind of wild for me. I've gone from like revelation to revelation.
Roll credits.
I know, right?
Past few days, I'm
Oh, but it's exciting though, right?
I'm still processing actually.
Yeah, me too.
But he walks over, and you see this room has been long empty of people, except for him. Basically, there are no other presences here.
So was it just like you said, a courtroom? Was it like a?
You know what a long hall or a longhouse? Just a grand hall. It's a big.
So what, like a church cathedral kind of?
Like a big rectangular room. Just a huge, high ceilings, goes far back.
Rows of seats, maybe.
There's different sections to it. So there's a long table, and then there's storage areas. There's weapon racks. There's big shelves with volumes on them. Then there's cots at the very end. So this is an all-purpose room. And you can actually hear above you a very just muffled sort of thump as, well, not a thump, but kind of like a growling or a rumbling as the sand scrapes across the surface. But yeah, and he just sort of walks over to your group and begins analyzing you. He's big, not extremely tall, but with the added weight of the armor, and he appears pretty heavy set. He makes resounding footsteps in this big echoey chamber.
Well, I suppose if we're going to be spending the next day or two here, we might as well introduce ourselves. I am Alice. Gestures over at everyone else to...
I mean, I've already done that.
Sam? You can call me Sam if you want. Sunshine absolutely does not.
And that's Sunshine.
That's our...
I am Sentinel. I greet all of you as I am able.
It's a pleasure. You have any more friends in the house?
I am alone.
I'm sorry to hear it.
Milo, relatable.
It is my station to remain here. My allies long ago passed on.
And how are you here?
I remain.
Is it as good as answer as any?
Yes, I am rather curious how you've managed to survive so long out here. How do you eat? How do you...
There are moments where I forage for my sustenance. But in the most part, and he extends a hand over, there's a corner of the room that is, you can tell all of these old things that kind of defy realism of this place, like huge like quartz pillars and like wood everywhere. But in this corner you can see there's very definite cutoff of these old artifacts where there's just machinery. And some of it looks modern, some of it's scrapped. But you can also see there's a table, and you would recognize alchemical instruments. I create my own sustenance.
I have no idea how that works, but
You
she'd know more
smell
about it than I can.
of an artificer,
Yes.
and you smell of mutation.
As you can see, that's what I am.
The other one smells of blood.
Yeah, human through and through.
Yeah, and he
He's
points
pointing
up
at
at
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
I don't think he's referring to his own
And
blood.
figures.
And this last one, Northerner. And she just slides slightly behind Alice.
It's about right.
I hold no ancient grudge. It is not my place anymore to define the unholy. Long ago, I lost this privilege. Now I simply serve in this last bastion.
That's rather convenient that they're here. I'm gonna go take a walk a little bit.
Could I make like an educated guess of where this guy's from? Like what his deal is? What his deal was?
From the appearance of his armor and the fact that he speaks High Blood, you would guess he is from the first age of the High Age of the High Bloods. The Apostles were the ruling warriors of that land. They were led by the Apostle, and that is all he's known by. He was in the times where the Black first appeared. He started basically his own band of warriors, of like-minded, and he taught. He had a scripture, basically, and he gathered his group of like-minded warriors, and he created the nation of the High Bloods.
How long ago was this?
And this was, from now, something like 500 years.
So how's this guy still around? You don't...
But he's wearing... And
so this guy is Apostle. He just goes by Sentinel now?
The Apostles were basically just the followers.
Apostle, not the Apostle.
The followers of the original guy.
So he's not necessarily the original guy.
They were the race of High Bloods.
You might say he's an Apostle of the Apostle.
Right. They were the race of the High Bloods, and then there were the devout that were called Apostles. They followed the very strict discipline and doctrine of the original, of the warrior creed, basically. And that actually led kind of to the downfall of the High Bloods, is that the apostate fell out of favor, and less of them were granted control. So that when they were attacked, they had basically no authority over it.
There it is, yeah.
So the Apostles were they started the nation, then fell out of favor, because they stick to an extremely strict religion, basically. But you can tell from like the armor he's wearing and sort of the accoutrements of the room you're in. Yeah, no, he's wearing like first age era stuff.
Yeah, I think Alice is just gonna spend this time like gonna go back downstairs, transcribe all of that if she can.
There's days of scripture as you go down the hall. Literally every wall is covered in that.
Or if not the text, basically trying to figure out the language, and then from there.
And he actually follows and offers his assistance. There are volumes of books written in this language and other languages that like all across. There's as he said, Midlander, which is there's not a ton of that, but there's like dozens of languages you've never even heard of. And there are some that are still being used, like Dune Lord, in some of the more recent copies. And he actually appears to know all of them. And as he speaks, he gets more fluent in the language you're using. But as you...
And she will speak in his tongue also, just to help him out if...
Right, and as you switch to that, he's actually very fluent in that. He's strangely
well
well-spoken.
Honestly, she'd probably prefer that. She'd rather he sound good and, like, articulate than she...
He's surprisingly fluent. He speaks, he doesn't speak like a soldier. He actually speaks somewhat poetically in his tongue, but as you descend down the walls, he tells you that they are the scripture that he has been carving into the hallway because he ran out of books. So he has been, and it is almost a half mile down that he has filled the walls with this.
That's crazy. That's so much.
He said he's been doing it for the last 10 years. Every day he fills in another verse.
Wow.
And he's actually filled the hallway.
From memory?
Yes.
Wow.
Is that he's been copying down. And the scripture itself is the one thing, it is forbidden to write that in a book or a novel. It is passed only through word or monument. And it's only allowed to be transcribed in a place that is controlled by the High Bloods, which is why the apostate just has no records of existing. The religion died because the apostles died, and they took it with them. So, Milo, where do you go?
Just looking around.
There's some wild shit here. There's actually dozens of magic items. But in sort of a strange, stagnant magic, where yours is free and extremely mutated. It's changing and kind of formless. This is a magic that has a strict purpose, like it has been written. If your magic is sound, this magic feels like words.
Alright.
Yeah.
Probably play around with those at least.
Yeah, there's a huge weapons area where a shop and a forge have been combined together. And there's a bunch of magic stuff over there. But there's also volumes, just a huge wall of books.
He's gonna go look for anything that has books that have any sort of magic relation to them.
Now, there's actually, you can't really understand the words, but there's a book that's just glowing with magic.
It's such a pity.
But like as you open it, you actually see there are just symbols there.
Alright.
That you might have recognized as alchemical from your brief encounter with it. But it appears to be, and there's visual explanation too. There's drawings of, what was it? There's the regrowing of limbs, the healing of wounds, curing of sicknesses. And as you see there,
All of my characters perk up. The regrowing of limbs, huh?
Yeah.
Literally everyone.
But you see, there's sacrificial elements needed and long binding rituals. But this is pretty much just a tome of medical alchemy.
I'm gonna shuffle this all over to good old Alice. Kind of just.
If you could fucking find me.
Well, there's
mile.
one exit. Yeah. Well, I mean, also he explained that it goes all the way down, but he could just recount all of it to you.
Yeah. Can I roll to try and not memorize all of it? Might be a bit much, but try and retain the most.
What he tells you.
Points.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too, is that he says the scripture of the apostate is as long as the existence of them. So there's a lot. It's the history and the doctrine. And they sort of intermingle. But yeah, roll for that.
Can I roll lore?
That's lore, yeah.
Come on. 14.
It's a 14. Yeah, no, you listen intently and you retain most of it. Their main doctrine is, and you would hear this. Well, you would hear them discussing in their own language. Actually, you want to roll for intuition real quick?
Yeah, hand gestures, mouth movements. I don't have intuition.
Deduction.
Deduction? Okay.
Deduction. That's 16?
It's a 16. So you can kind of understand what they're doing and what they mean. The language is actually pretty intuitive. It's just sort of every time you start a sentence, it is thing about thing, relation to the next sentence, and you just keep. Here's a concept. It is related to this next concept. This way.
Video game combo.
Basically, yeah, it's just thing, adjective, relation, adjective, thing. So it's actually getting kind of easier to understand as you go on. He explains that the apostle who started it was blessed by Adonis. He was the avatar of Adonis, basically, who was in their doctrine the creator, and that the creator and the destroyer go in flux of a cycle, and the world was destroyed. And then the creator came and he gave them the apostle. And he taught him how to recreate the world. And so he shares with you all of these doctrines and these sort of things. It's extremely strict.
It's very... How in depth does he go on this destroyer?
Oh, if you ask, he explains.
Yeah, she's very curious about this creator and this destroyer.
Yes.
The Adonis, to clarify, is the leader of the empire, right?
What?
Am I thinking of the wrong?
Adonis is so that's a whole other can of worms that you can explore in a second. But yes, Adonis is what they call the empire. But the Destructor has no name. It is the concept of destruction. Because they believe to give something a name gives it presence and gives it meaning. So they do not live within the presence of destruction. But it is the element of it. And they said when life becomes too great on Earth, when the cycle of Adonis is over, the Destructor comes and wipes clean everything. And then the creator, Adonis, comes and he restarts life. And every cycle, the High Bloods emerge. And his doctrine, as he explains, is sentinel. He is the last remainder. He is to remain and to spread his knowledge and to keep the knowledge of the apostate alive. And his service basically is just to remain to infinity.
Alright.
Until destroyed.
Okay. So Milo kind of picking some of this up.
And Alice can translate.
Yeah.
And he does actually, he can speak.
I'm sure once you walk in, he starts. Yeah.
Yeah, holding a book. Just gonna turn around again, go look through the libraries for even more magical. Kind of get a stack at this point.
Yeah, there's a bunch actually.
Specifically pertaining to what he's got going
dedicated section. Oh yeah, there is actually nothing written down about what he's telling you.
Yeah,
Nothing
about the religions is uninteresting, but mostly he's looking for some knowledge that might not have been in the Hyper Harvard section, and more so.
Oh, everything down here.
So pretty much
the study of magic.
Can he understand what's going on? At least the grand scope of magic or something.
The study and
bigger.
The utility of it, the forging of null steel. That's actually detailed.
Wow, really?
How you do that? That's just one of the volumes. You see, there's a forge that looks like the one described in the manual.
This is a very important facility.
It is as he describes it, the bastion.
Yeah. All right.
This is the last holdout.
I, in a meta sense, am as equally happy that we have found this as I am unhappy that Sunshine is here and Jeremiah will know about it.
Yeah, you see Sunshine just sort of stood by the entrance the entire time and just sort of flicks his head to another direction every couple of minutes and just continues staring there.
Yeah. So Milo finding something, at least something magical pertaining to him, he's going to want to, if he can't understand it, he might go to Alice, have her read books for him, but he just wants to kind of read, at least pass the time of some sort, since he's got a day and a half to kill.